Alright, the first Cinderella book I have is Glass Slipper, Gold Sandal. And this one's kind of unique because it's a worldwide Cinderella. So it's a story. So the mom is telling the story to her daughter. And she's talking about how the story's been told all over the world. And so it goes through, and in the illustrations, it'll give a little, in the details, it'll say what country. And so then the illustrations are based around the style that that country would be in. So this one's Korea, and this other one's Iraq. And so you can clearly see the difference between the two pages. In this story, Cinderella is the daughter, which you can see pictured here. Her father divorces. She has to sleep next to the furnace. The father remarries. And so there's the stepmom and the stepsisters that treat her poorly. And then one day they announce the great king is in search of a queen, and so they're going to have a ball, just like the traditional story. And then the next part that's really interesting is they take kind of a piece of the whole outfit from each of the different countries. So this page says, so she reaches into a hole in the birch tree, and then there's a sarong made of gold, a cloak sewn of kingfisher feathers, and so these are representative of the different countries as well. So Indonesia is the sarong, and then China would be the cloak. Japan, she gets a kimono. So France, she gets glass slippers, diamond anklets from India, sandals of gold in Iraq, and then she rides in this little pair to the ball. And I think it's kind of interesting because in this story, the magic, it's still magic, but it almost seems like it's her real mother spirit, because when she doesn't have anything to wear, she goes to her mom's old sewing basket, and then she reaches in, and then she gets all these things. So it's like her mom, it's kind of coming in and playing that role for her, even though she's gone. So that's interesting. And then the king even kind of changes form. So in this one, he's Egypt, so he changes, and he's the headman's son instead of, the king or whatever you would call it in a different country. And then here she's like rolling her into the rug to hide her. So each of the elements kind of change a little bit throughout the story depending on which country they are trying to portray. And I feel like the time period does as well, which is kind of interesting because it shows you how far the story has really traveled. And then at the end it says, and people today are still telling the story. So kind of like that one. It's not really so straightforward with a lot of the answers, but I feel like really accurately depicts the whole Cinderella story.